Hi guys, what's up? Alex here. Today we are here with a short video to talk about who I think will be getting the last 3 seats with Formula 1 teams next year. So we have one space available as I'm recording this. It could already be confirmed or something to completely ruin this video, but you can compare and tell me off in the comment section if I get this wrong. So yeah, basically there'll be 1 seat left at Lotus and 2 seats left at Manor. But I'm already sort of predicting that one of those seats at Manor is going to be taken by Pascal Wehrlein. So what we're looking at now is 1 seat at Lotus, 1 seat at Manor. Who do we think is going to be taking those 2 seats with all of the rest of the field already sort of signed up with a contract for next year? Who are going to be taking those last 2 seats if Pascal Wehrlein does get that seat in the Manor team for next year? So we look at Lotus, which could become Renault. Who are they going to want? Well, they're probably going to want a driver that can bring a bit of money, and also they're going to probably want a driver that's got a decent amount of experience to go alongside Maldonado, who you would say is probably, you know, maybe not the most experienced in the world. I mean, he can be very fast on his day, but they probably want someone with a lot of experience that can sort of carry that team, is the first driver at that Lotus Renault team. So I'm thinking, who's it going to be? That's what I'm thinking at the moment. Who honestly would want to go to that team with the record they've had in the last sort of few seasons? 2014 was an absolute disaster. 2015, it's been a bit better. They've had 1 podium with Romain Grosjean so far this year. Maldonado's been a little bit off the pace most of the time. He's had some decent results here and there, but he's been a bit off the pace. And for anyone starting to wants to hate me or whatever, I actually don't mind Maldonado. I think he's actually a pretty decent driver on his day. I'm not one of those people that constantly hates on him, but you know, he definitely can improve for next year. And really, it's a bit, you know, he's got a lot of money, but I think Lotus might, you know, lose their patience, or Renault. I'll just say Lotus because it makes it less confusing. I think Lotus will lose their patience, and Maldonado has another really bad season, like he has done the last 2 years. Not really bad in terms of lots of crashes, but just really bad in terms of his pace hasn't really been there. So, yeah. So who is going to be racing for this team next year? Well, I've got a couple of people in mind about who could be racing for them. First off, probably most understandably, would be their reserve driver at the moment, Jolyon Palmer. It would make sense for him to get the chance and step up to Formula 1. His dad owns an oil company, I think, if I remember correctly. He's got a big company with lots of money, Jolyon Palmer's dad, Jonathan Palmer, who owns all the MSV tracks in the UK. Anyway, he's got a lot of money, so he can definitely pay the bills of Jolyon Palmer. They think it's good enough to make the step up to a Formula 1 race seat. His dad definitely can help him pay for that. I'm not taking away from anything from Palmer, but you know, he has got a decent budget behind him, and also, you know, the fact that he's got a bit of experience with that team as well. I think he would be definitely a good fit for the Lotus team or Renault team next year. Him alongside Maldonado definitely wouldn't be the strongest lineup in the world, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, if they can make a whole season with Renault, obviously they want their first season back in the sport to be, you know, just maybe a bit under the, what's the word I'm looking for here? Under the radar, maybe. They just have a decent season, scoring points here and there. A bit like what they're doing this year, really. No one's really talking about Lotus. If Renault can sort of replicate this next year, I think they'll be definitely just happy with that. But if Jolyon Palmer does get the step up to the race seat, I think Maldonado does really need to step up his game. He needs to be way more consistent. He needs to be in the points most rounds if the car is, you know, able to do that. So Maldonado, 2016, mate, is your time to shine. If you've got a young teammate alongside you, you cannot be shown up by him. It's fine being shown up by Romain Grosjean because we all know he's an excellent driver, but he cannot be shown up by Jolyon Palmer over a whole season. He has to outscore him, maybe even double his points over the season. So thinking about it, maybe Jolyon Palmer will be going over to the Lotus team, but maybe if they want experience, there's not really a huge amount of options out there, to be perfectly honest. I mean, Kevin Magnussen, well, he's got more experience than Jolyon Palmer, but why would Lotus take him? I have no idea. They probably wouldn't be taking, let's be honest, but he might be an option if they just want to find somebody. But maybe, you know, someone like Adrian Sutil, like, I don't know, I'm just bringing that name up at random, just because he is a massive legend. But yeah, maybe if they want the experience, Adrian Sutil or someone of his sort of caliber, you know, he's very consistent. De Resto, you know, someone like that, for example. Maybe Buemi, you know what I mean? That sort of driver who's had a bit of experience in Formula 1, knows what they're talking about. And yeah, I don't know, we'll see. But maybe Jolyon Palmer is the most likely to join that team as a race driver for next year. As for Manor, if they do have Pascal Wehrlein for next year, it's between two people in my opinion. Will Stevens, if he's got the budget for a second season, they'll probably take him. Or maybe Alexander Rossi, if he can find sponsorship, he'll probably stay with the team. Obviously Haas, who I'm going to talk about in a minute, because I actually forgot about them when I started making this video. But yeah, they'll probably take Rossi if he has a decent budget, or Stevens if he has a bigger budget. Basically, in my opinion, it's going to be Stevens or Rossi, whoever has the biggest budget for next season. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Vandoorne's going to be getting anywhere for next year. Maybe a season, maybe in a GT team or something, whilst being third driver, waiting for either Button or Alonso to retire, really, for Stoffel Vandoorne. I suppose the same for Magnussen as well. But yeah, so either Rossi or Stevens for the second Manor seat alongside Pascal Wehrlein, and probably Julian Palmer alongside Pastor Maldonado at Lotus. Hashtag Renault/Renault. What? Renault, yeah. Anyway, Haas, I forgot to talk about them at the start of the video, because they will have a seat alongside their currently signed up driver, Romain Grosjean. They have a seat alongside him, but most of us are expecting it to be Esteban Gutierrez. It makes sense. He has a nice budget behind him, and he'll probably be a decent fit for that team. We'll see. Obviously, it's an American team. He's in, Mexican driver from South America, so it would sort of make a little bit of sense. He's obviously got experience with the turbo engines as well. He's got 2 years experience in Formula 1. Yeah, I think it'll be a decent fit. So, Gutierrez and Grosjean at Haas. Wehrlein alongside either Rossi or Stevens at Manor. And then at Lotus, I'm predicting Maldonado and Julian Palmer. Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. It's been Alex from out here. Goodbye.